What's up, everybody? Welcome back to the final, regular season episode of the Guys of Texas recapping the SEC championship. I did not make it to the SEC championship. I guess we'll go over that first. I'll kind of explain what the hell happened there. So I show up. Flight leaves at 6:30. I show up at 4:45 at the South Terminal. I'm flying Frontier, of course, because it's the cheapest. And time comes, plane lands, they unload everybody. They start scanning our boarding passes. So I get out on the tarmac and about ready to board the plane. And they just said, everybody turn around. There's maintenance issues. So we go back inside. This is like 6 o'clock, right at 6 o'clock. Go back inside. They're like, it'll be 20 minutes. Figure everything out. 20 minutes goes by. All right, it's going to be another 30 minutes. 30 minutes goes by. This place is full of Longhorn fans, anxious as hell. Everyone just starts hanging around. After the first hour, then they go, hey, it's going to be another hour and a half. Okay. So I see, first I see the people that worked for Frontier huddled around at the desk, after the first hour. I'm like, that could be good. That could be bad. I don't know what's going on. And so one lady breaks off and starts talking to this guy that's a passenger, and they know each other. And I could tell, she's covering her mouth and everything. She's giving him the scoop of what's going on. So they leave, and I was like, I don't really care what you said, but are we going or not? He's like, yeah, we should be going. He said, I didn't tell you this, but it was a tire. They were replacing a tire. I said, okay. And then there's another group behind me. There's one guy, Chris / Gooch. What's up, brother? That man was feeling himself. He was, I think he got 7 beers deep in the middle of that. He was having a good old time. So I got to hang out with him.
What else are you supposed to do when you're sitting at the airport on a Friday?
Especially that airport. That airport, the South Terminal is there's one little convenience store. I had a trash pizza. They had the pizza. It's in the fridge. It's in a box. You couldn't see it, so it'd be a surprise. And they take it. You buy it. They take it from you. They throw it in their little conventional oven. Bring it out. Didn't cut it at all. It was like a little 10-inch pizza, just full of cheese, not cut, cardboard. It was a miserable time. There was a food truck out there too, the taco truck, and that had closed right before we started boarding. I'm like, okay, because I didn't think it was going to be long. And so we get to 9:30. It was about 9 o'clock. They start boarding. They're like, all right, we're going to start boarding. I'm like, all right, here we go. I'd already talked everybody in. I met Jennifer and her husband. Got to talk to him a lot. I forget his name, and I'm going to screw up because he was, and also he's probably going to watch this. How you guys doing? Miss you guys. Everyone subscribe to the channel, which is greatly appreciated. So we get on the plane at 9:30. I'm texting everybody. I text you guys finally on the plane, headed to Atlanta. 10:30 rolls around. We're still in the exact same spot. They come on the intercom saying, hey, there's a paperwork issue. The maintenance guy filled out the wrong paperwork. They pulled the ramp back, brought the maintenance guy on. Maintenance guy leaves. Close the door again, turn the lights off. 11:30, I look out and I see that ramp coming right back. I was like, you've got to be kidding me. I've been there since 4:45 now. It's 11:30 at night. And pilot comes on, is like, sorry guys, we're not going to be able to take off. They kept saying paperwork. There's no way it was a paperwork issue. It was definitely a sensor or something they couldn't get to go away on the plane. So they scheduled it for 11:30. People were rioting. Gooch had at the when the maintenance guy came on at 10:30 the first time. Gooch was like, "Screw this, I'm out." He had been Texas fighting the whole time on the plane, getting everybody amped up, and finally was like, "You know what? Love you guys. Screw this. I'm not doing this." And bounced.
Typical Gooch.
Yeah, go Gooch. No, you leave Gooch alone. Gooch was a good guy. But no, it was probably 12 people got off the plane at that point. And then at the end, we all ended up getting off. They rescheduled 11:30. I go home, get home at 1 o'clock in the morning. I wake up at 3 o'clock, and they moved the flight back to 12 o'clock, which wouldn't get me landing there until 3 o'clock Eastern time. And then, so at that point, I was like, you know what? I'm going to put my ticket on. If it sells, it sells. I'll get most of my money back. And so ended up selling within the hour. When I woke up, it's like, okay, well, guess I'm not going. And that plane didn't even take off until 12:30. I kept watching it. So the worst part was the freaking airport workers that push the plane back and everything. They do the luggage. All of them were talking trash because they were all apparently Georgia fans. Like when I'm boarding at 9:30, it's like, hey, you guys make sure you save up those tears when you come back. The lady in the plane was like, hey, I'm the one. Don't talk trash to me because I'm the one that pushes your plane back. I get to decide whether or not you leave or not. She avoided all of us when we were getting off that plane. By the end of it, the Frontier flight, flight attendants were just freaking out the whole time, talking trash about every time I come here, something happens in Austin. I hate coming to Austin. I hate the South. I'm like, dude, you guys got to learn customer service control here because we're all eyes on you. And I'm 7 rows back from the front of the plane, and I am hearing everything you're saying.
Customer service isn't a top priority for Spirit and Frontier.
No, it's not. End of the day, ended up not going. Got my money back for the flight. Only had to pay for one night of the hotel. So I ended up going to Buford with the boys, and we all hung out. Enjoyed my time there.
Mostly good time.
Mostly good time. I had so much fun. Although the second pregame started popping up, I'm like, I can't even watch this, dude. I should be there right now. Turned out to be an incredible game. Something that Texas hasn't really been in a game like that before. You know, when we played Georgia the first time, they were so far out in front, it was tough to catch up. But we ended up coming back and making this one a good game. We had control of it the first half. Could never put touchdowns on the board in the first half. First half ends up 3-3. And then Georgia starts turning it on after Carson Beck goes out. I think they diagnosed it with Positis, I think is why he wasn't playing.
Positis?
Yeah. It's Positis. Yeah. Look it up. Google that Urban Dictionary. Honestly, it was the best thing to happen to Georgia because I feel like,
yeah, for real.
I mean, Stockton, he had one interception, but at the end of the day, he helped them a whole lot more than what Beck was doing. Beck stays in that game, and he is getting annihilated. And I think it gave them a little bit extra boost of knowing, hey, we're going to have to protect him a little more. Quinn, on our side of the ball, throws for 358, 1 TD, 2 interceptions. One intercept, Isaiah Bond, man. I don't know what's up with him. And, Jono, you said this, but you felt like Wingo has earned that time. There's no reason Bond should be in there. For the way he's been playing, he has not been a factor for us for a while.
Yeah,
I'm just not convinced that he's healthy. Is my opinion. I think that he's not 100%. He hasn't been for a couple weeks now. I mean, we did see Wingo at the end of the game though. That last drive, Wingo was out there pretty much the entire drive. So that I think Sark did see that, but yeah.
Well, it was after Bond got rolled up on. I don't think he could walk anymore.
Yeah,
I didn't see that during the game, but I rewatched the fourth quarter just before we got on.
Oh,
I saw that hit to the back of the legs. Oh,
yeah. I think he was already banged up going into that, and then obviously that was a tough one to do. But yeah, I mean, I don't think you can really put that first interception. That ball was there for Bond, and it was just kind of who wanted it more. I mean, that's the ball that Quinn threw there. He threw a ball that was kind of up for grabs, but he trusted his guy to go get it. And then as soon as Bond realized that, he didn't have the initial catch, he just put his head down and started looking to the side. And then next thing you know, Georgia's got the pick. So that was kind of disappointing to see. You want to see your guys, fight for it a little bit more in that situation.
Play through the whistle.
Yeah, that's what, there was a lot. Everyone is on social media, including my wife, who's posting the Quinn Dak picture.
I was going to bring that up, man.
We've had conversations today. We've had conversations.
Got to get your house in order over there.
Yeah, I know. It's testing our marriage at this point. She's not a Cowboys fan, but she loves to, stir the pot. And she thinks Quinn was just terrible this game. But if you look at the stats, 358, 1 TD, 2 interceptions, 27 to 46. Wide receivers were dropping balls left and right. There was a couple touchdowns in there. that should have been caught. Like this was not on Quinn. If you had me put solely this game on somebody, it's Auburn, who we have given a pass for 3 years now, and I don't know why. Like it's always been, and no one said anything all year. We all knew it. Like I said at the A&M game right before he's going to kick, Kyle was like, "Hey, do you want to watch his kick?" It's like, "Nope, he's probably going to miss it." Sure enough, we go to the bathroom, look at the score, and yep, he missed it. Like this guy is going to end up like this. These games are relied on field goals. Like field goals matter in these games now. And if you can't put them away in clutch moments, missing one of them, okay, I get it. Like you made the first one. There was a false start penalty, not your fault. You got to make the second one. Like you got to make one of those two. Like making either one of those wins us that game.
Right.
It's just frustrating for me.
Dude, that's all I've been thinking of all this morning. I mean, I woke up and just started thinking about it. And like, he's a senior on this team. He's basically been the kicker almost the entire time Sark's been here. How are we still producing? He's at 66.7% accuracy, which is 14th in the SEC right now. As a senior on this team, just blows my mind. I'm so frustrated with it. How can we not do better?
I mean, I think you look at, like, yes, Auburn for sure cost us a lot with his misses, but, dude, I'm extremely frustrated with our red zone offense. Like, we got down there time and time again. We did it against A&M. We did it against Georgia. We got in position, and it's like as soon as we get inside that 30 or 25-yard line, our offense just goes non-existent. I mean, look at that last drive of the game. We get the pass interference call. Then we got first and 10, I believe, at the 18-yard line, and we go sack and then incompletion on two balls that were just kind of like, okay, what? This felt like Washington last year when we got down inside the 15, and then it's like, dude, how are those the plays that we're going to come up with in that situation? But, yeah, I mean, you got to hit those field goals, though. I don't know if y'all saw that with the field goals that he did make yesterday, he's now the leader in Texas football history for most field goal makes, which blew my mind when I read that stat.
Knocking off Justin Tucker. Nice.
Yeah. No, it's frustrating, though, man, because in a game like this, those kicks mean everything. You know, points mean everything at that point in time. And it's not like we were asking him to kick 55-yard field goals. You know, these are field goals that an experienced kicker should be able to make in this moment. And it's disappointing for sure. But, yeah, I don't think you can really put this all on Quinn. I mean, Quinn's turnovers are getting costly. He can't continue to have turnovers late. The second interception was just ass.
Yeah.
I mean, that was just, it was a horrible throw. I don't know what he was looking at, but I mean, he's got to control the ball. But then, man, it's just like the luck of Georgia. I think they had 4 fumbles that they recovered in that second half alone. Yeah. And penalties killed us. We couldn't rush the ball. You know, you can't put this all on Quinn. Quinn did what he could and put up a lot of yards, and I think he was slinging it for a lot of the game. But our inability to rush the ball in this game was the turning point for me. We never got anything going on the ground at any point. If anything, I feel like the tackles for losses were, you know, extremely high for Georgia on our rushing attempts. I don't know why it felt like our rushing attempts felt like such a slow developing plays. Like, I feel against A&M, we were quick into the hole, hit it, and then he was bouncing around for extra yards. I feel like everything was real slow and lateral against Georgia. And we just, you know, it's just disappointing that we rushed the ball so well over the last few weeks. And then we come into this game, and it's the same exact thing as the first time we faced them. Sacks. We give up an insane amount of sacks. We can't rush the ball, and we get a lot of penalties. I mean, it was literally the same exact issues that we complained about the first time around happened again, you know, and that's frustrating because that's a lot of self-inflicting wounds that you expect a team in week 13 to have it figured out by then. So, but, you know, it's a tough situation, a frustrating game for sure, because I felt like we beat ourselves in a lot of ways.
Yeah, with the way that first half started out, man, I was really excited about the way Quinn was playing that first half. We were talking about it while we were out there, but it just felt he was zipping the ball more, putting it into great spots, and the red zone is just getting so frustrating. I don't know. it doesn't, when we're in the red zone, it doesn't seem like he ever goes past his first read, which has always kind of been a con on Quinn, that he doesn't go farther in the progression. But then nobody's getting free. He keeps throwing into tight places and just hoping something happens. So
yeah,
frustrating.
Yeah, the big thing, number one, that fourth down conversion, that play with Arch and just directly hiking the ball through his legs.
Oh yeah,
all the way through, dude. That play, I just was incredible play call there. But I think part of this blame. So number one, it's penalties. Because those two interceptions, we had two interceptions that were called back because of penalties.
Yeah.
And then on top of that, not using Arch, especially in the second half, I think the run game wise, that would have made a huge difference in being able to establish that with Arch. And Sark you had the formula with A&M. You already knew it. And he was just too timid to go to it. And I feel like that was the biggest miss. And that, so at the end of the day, though, like this game was really good. Like I enjoyed. It's been a long time since we watched a very good football game where they're just going at it, and it's a low-scoring game. Like this was a great game to watch. Yes, we were on the wrong side of it. We lost in overtime. Like it's one of those that you make the kicks, you make half the penalties that you made if you eliminate half of them. That this is Texas game all along, and the good news is we get to learn from this and actually go on to the playoffs and take care of business. And we are set up to see Georgia in the championship the way the bracket is now. We'll go over that here in a minute, but I didn't go away from this game, and I was battling on Twitter last night, boy. I was in the trenches just going at Georgia fans. They kept wanting to talk trash. You still don't have a ranked win. Get out of here with that trash, dude. It is not our fault. Like, we have played your SEC the whole time, that anybody could beat us any given day, and the only team that was able to do that was Georgia. So, and the last game, like this last game, it could have gone either direction. Everyone expected that hates Texas for us to get blown out again. We all knew that was not going to be the case. So take your little unranked wins. Your resume sucks. Screw you. Like, you all know you do not want to face us one more time. You know that for a fact. Like, and I think Georgia fans. There was a Georgia fan last night that admitted that. He's like, I don't want to see y'all again. Like, that's the last thing I need.
The guy for the bar?
Yeah. Yeah. So
the Gurley guy?
Yes, Todd Gurley. Yes.
Todd Gurley. Not
Todd. Yeah, exactly. Not he was wearing a Todd Gurley jersey.
Yeah.
Real nice guy. But it's man, yes, the loss sucks, but this loss just didn't affect me much. Like, it really didn't. Sure, I wanted bragging rights for the SEC, and just we would be unbearable, like, for the SEC the rest of the time if we had won that game. But that was all that game was for. Was just for bragging rights. Now we know what we have to do. I think this is going to be a good rebuild game for us. We're going to be able to get a little bit of rest. We've got 2 weeks before the next game, which is what we need. But overall, Texas gives up 6 sacks. That's something we're going to have to take care of again. Like, that just can't happen. We're just not able to protect the quarterback. So, what is that noise? Who is clicking? Seth.
My bad.
I keep hearing it. Like, man,
I didn't even really hear it.
We've done so good.
That's
all I've heard. Is just, I'm like, oh my god. No, you're good.
I think that we kind of see it different ways for sure. You saw it glass half full. I definitely saw it glass half empty last night, because we lost the same exact way we lost the first time, and that's why I have trouble swallowing this loss, is because we made the same mistakes over again, and it's like, you got to learn from this. How are we this far into the season and we're still talking about like fundamental mistakes from this team? And it was hard last night, man. I had a hard time with this loss because I was pissed.
You were gone.
Dude, I was like, I got to get out of here. Like, I don't want to stick around. Like, I need to get out of here. I was like, I don't got nothing to say to nobody. I just need to go home.
I know. We just saw the back of your head, and TJ was
Yeah.
like, "You got eyes on John?" I was like, "I'll go see where he's going." And like, dude, I could not find you.
Yeah, dude, I did. I was probably already on Mopac by the time
Yeah.
you were over there. I was just like, dude, I ain't got nothing to say here. I'm just got to go get out of here because I'm frustrated. Yeah, I mean, it's just one of those games I think that's why it's so hard. It was one of those games where I was like, man, Georgia just really took it to us again, but we played a really clean game and did what we needed to do. But it was like, dude, we just beat ourselves in that game with so many mistakes, and not being able to rush the ball was probably one of the biggest things for me to get over, because I was like, God dang, dude, we've been rushing the ball so well, and then it's just our offensive line just gets punked again.
Mm-hmm.
And that's the hardest thing. It's like, man, I don't know what it is about Georgia that we just can't play a clean game against. And I know the refs missed a lot on their side too. You know, we saw that. Sark made that clear.
Oh, he made that very clear.
that was like, oh crap, I can't believe he just said that. And that was like the only question that got asked, you know?
Yeah.
The way he said it and then just like stared into the camera was hilarious.
Yeah. But I kind of came back down to reality a little bit, because our ultimate goal is still on the table. And I do think that Georgia plays up to their opponent and down to their opponent. But I do think that Georgia is still probably one of the best complete teams in the country. Yep. I think they got a great shot at getting to the championship. So I got to continue to remind myself that maybe we are potentially playing the best team, you know, but just the self-inflicted things are hard to get over. But, you know, we'll get into it here soon. But I like our path ahead to come. So,
yeah,
I agree.
The 5 seed is a great spot to be in, even though it took a loss to get there. We got a good path forward.
I was kind of surprised that we did get that 5. I don't know. I felt like for some reason it was going to drop a little bit more, but
well,
I don't know if y'all saw the actual rankings. Did y'all see the actual rankings?
We're number 3.
We're number 3, so we only dropped 1 position. So that's pretty wild to see. So yeah, there it is.
Yeah, now we're this is the official final bracket for the playoffs. Arizona State gets a bye. Oregon, Boise State, and Georgia all get byes. Arizona State, I've looked this up, and I was told that the seeded teams get to pick their bowl, but I guess it's just not the case for the quarterfinals, because I would figure Georgia would pick the Peach Bowl. But Arizona State will be in the Peach Bowl. So we win this game, we go face Arizona State in Atlanta, which means every other game from this point forward, including last weekend, will be a game in Atlanta if we win all the way out. So pretty wild.
I thought it was showing us going to the Sugar Bowl.
No, it shows us going to the Peach Bowl.
Oh.
Yep. We will be going to the Peach Bowl.
Yeah, because in that semifinal round is, I believe, Hard Rock and Cotton.
Yeah, it's the Orange Bowl and the Cotton Bowl. So that one for sure, the top seed chooses where they want to go, and then the next seed will choose where they want to go. And that's where things are going to get interesting. We'll get to that here in just a second. Let's talk about matchups real quick. Clemson will play Texas. They released, y'all sent me that video of what's his name? Yeah, just in awe that he's going to have to go to Texas and face all of his former boys that he's either played with or played against. He did not look happy at all.
He looked a little shell shocked for sure, kind of like, oh crap, you know, because I started looking that up afterwards, and I was like, oh dang, he played multiple years with Taft at Westlake. They played South Lake Carroll's Quinn Ewers team in the state championship. Like, there's a lot of history. Texas offered him out of high school, decided to go with Dabo over there. So there's a lot of history. And then you got Bakuba too, that played for 3 years with Clemson, decides to transfer for, you know, an opportunity here. And now he's got his old buddies coming into town. So there's a lot of spicy headlines in this game for sure. But I mean, if you had to tell me I had to play anybody in the first round, I would definitely pick Clemson out of the bunch. So I think it's the best matchup for us.
Apparently the team's been calling it the Makuba Bowl already.
Nice. Yeah. Well, I saw Dabo's interview, and he's wanting to meet Matthew McConaughey. They're just worried about who they're getting to meet, not even worried about the actual game right now. So,
What?
yeah. Dabo the whole time was like, I mean, I'm just excited. He said he'd been to Austin once, and it was for a high school football playoff game. And that's the only time he's ever been here. He goes, I'm just excited to be down in Austin. And the first time I've been to Texas and to actually play. And he said, he's like, yeah, I just want to meet Matthew McConaughey. And they were like, Makuba could probably set that up for you. And he's like, oh, yeah, Coobs, I get to see him. And it's like, bro, like you are
I'm just happy to be here.
out of pocket, dude. Like he starts bringing up they keep telling me I need a new quarterback and go to the transfer portal and get it, but I just don't believe in that. We stuck with him, and well, you're about to figure out the transfer portal and all that stuff real quick here, bud. So, Clemson plays Texas. The winner of that will take on Arizona State, who looked very good again.
Yep.
They're just hot right now. Smoked Iowa State. That's going to be an interesting thing if we move on to see how we do against that offense. That'll be a fun little matchup for us as well in Atlanta. Tennessee will take on Ohio State. The winner of that will be played at the Rose Bowl. I really wanted to go to the Rose Bowl. That was one thing. I was like, man, I'd love to go. The winner of that will face Oregon. SMU slides in, bumps out Alabama. Alabama fans are pissed. I understand the reasons why, but it's pretty tough to get a 3-loss team in there when SMU had. This game, they were fighting it to the end. If they would have gotten blown out, I don't think SMU makes it. But because they made it a close game and lost it at the end of the game, that's the reason why they're in. And it's difficult to keep them out at that point. Winner of that will play Boise State. And then Indiana Notre Dame will play Georgia. The winner of that will play Georgia in the Sugar Bowl. I just keep looking at this. So the semifinals, the top seed gets to pick where they want to go between the Cotton Bowl and the Orange Bowl, Florida and Texas. That's going to be very interesting because if Oregon were to lose and Georgia gets the first pick, I'm not so sure Georgia doesn't choose Texas to come play over Florida because that would mean, let's see, if Texas is playing Tennessee or Ohio State, if you could move it to Florida, I think Tennessee fans are going to travel closer to there than they would to Dallas, creating a different atmosphere. They don't want to give Texas a home game feel experience whatsoever. And so it'll be very interesting to see how this plays out.
Yeah. It should be interesting. I mean, say Oregon, you get Tennessee, Ohio State, the winner of that plays Oregon, then Oregon wins. And then, hypothetically Texas gets through. Would Oregon really want to face Texas and Dallas, or would they just say, screw it, we're going to go down to Miami because,
that's a tough call.
But then you screw your fans by saying, hey, travel half the country or travel the whole freaking country
exactly
in the semifinals. So, yeah, that's interesting for sure how that's going to play out. But honestly, man, Oregon got kind of hosed being the number one overall seed, and then you're going to have to play an Ohio State or Tennessee right off the bat.
Yeah.
That's those are two teams that you're not really going to want to see. Ohio State took them to the brink and honestly probably should have won that game if Will Howard's clock management didn't get to him. So, yeah, Oregon's got an extremely tough path. I feel like Georgia's got to be sitting pretty over there with that number 2 seed with who they have on that side.
Have you guys looked at tickets yet?
Yeah, have they really dropped that many? Because I saw there's only when I looked there was 150 tickets. So I was like, maybe that's why the price is what they are.
You may be able to buy them off of the Texas website at this point.
They have 465 listings on SeatGeek right now, which is up from where it was. But I don't know if y'all seen the price right now.
Yikes, $512 right now. That should go down. Realistically, at the end of the day, we know what we're doing, so we'll be at the game. So, Yeah, we will be at that game, boys. We will be tailgating. Tailgate set up again for a 3:00 game. So
That's
we'll
gonna
talk
be
about
fun.
this a little offline. But I'm thinking instead of doing something, I mean, we'll probably have a next week. We'll probably have just like a bowl pick'em, or even this week. I don't know when the bowl games actually start. Let's see. I know I have that pulled up here. Oh yeah, because I want to go over that too. But I wanted to do one for sure at the tailgate. Let me see if I can
Yeah,
show this.
bowls officially start on the 14th,
Yeah,
but obviously it's going to be some of the lower tier first.
here we go. All right. So bowl games. Saturday the 14th, South Alabama versus Western Michigan. Memphis, West Virginia, Western Kentucky, James Madison, California, UNLV. Boring. Is there any where are the good ones at? Notre Dame, Indiana is going to be on December 20th. December 21st, you've got SMU, Penn State. We're the middle game, and then Tennessee, Ohio State on that one. Look at SMU, Penn State tickets are $136 right now. The spreads on here. What did y'all say the starting spread was?
I saw it at 10.5 for
It's
us.
at 11 already.
At 11 now.
52.5 over under. Oof. There's not. I think the closest spread is the Tennessee Ohio State game. Ohio State's minus 7.5. Northern Illinois, Fresno State. We don't even get Rutgers, K State.
Let's say there's a few fun bowl matchups so far. Arkansas, Texas Tech is kind of fun.
Yeah, that day will the 27th will be good. Oklahoma, Navy.
Yeah.
Georgia Tech, Vanderbilt, Texas Tech, Arkansas, Syracuse, Washington State, and A&M at USC. Ooh, in Vegas. Ooh, A&M's going to Vegas. Oh boy. The Distribution Las Vegas Bowl. Yikes. These bowl names. Who's playing? Oh, I was wrong. I hand up. I need to figure out who's actually playing in the ball game. I thought they were going to, but Colorado and BYU will be playing another Big 12 game apparently in the Alamo Bowl. That's odd.
That's a weird matchup.
That's very weird.
Yeah, I was going to ask you about that. How does that matchup happen?
I don't know.
Because I thought the Alamo Bowl was.
Wasn't it SEC?
I thought it was it
used to be a Pac-12 and a
Big 12.
Oh,
Yeah, it used to be Pac-12, Big 12. So I guess they just switched it. To,
Oregon State.
Yeah, I was about to say there's still some Pac-12 teams.
Are they bowl eligible though? They may not have ever. The Pac-12 teams may not be bowl eligible.
Yeah, it's kind of interesting matchup that it's two Big 12 teams, but I mean I know they didn't face this year, but still.
Here you go. Alabama, Michigan. Alabama is going to come out and throttle Michigan. Although the big thing about these other bowl games is if you're just going to a bowl game, that doesn't matter. That transfer portal is going to be a big deal.
Yeah.
That'll be interesting to see.
Yeah, there's going to be a lot of opt-outs.
Yeah. That's going to be the big thing with this is the opt-outs is going to be crazy. That's going to be the 31st.
Baylor LSU looks like a fun matchup in the Texas Bowl in Houston. So
yeah, that the 31st, Boise State will play their winner in the Fiesta Bowl.
South Carolina, Illinois sounds fun too.
Yeah. Ole Miss pulled Duke in the Tax Slayer Bowl.
Malik Murphy time.
Oh boy. You got the battle of, or the first responder bowl will be North Texas, Texas State. That's it for bowl games. Yeah, bowl games are going to be obsolete here soon. Like, there's really not a point in even playing these anymore with the way everything's going. There's really not any stakes at all like it used to be.
I feel like you're going to see, like, dude, honestly, we may even see, like, Milrow sit out. You know, you're going to see some of these guys like Cam Ward, they'll probably sit out of these games. Like, there's not really any need. Like, it's not like you're in the playoffs. You know, we may not see Shadir or we may not see, freaking the whole Colorado bunch. We probably won't even really get to see them either. So yeah, I don't know. I get it. You want to keep these bowl games around, but it's just with the playoffs, they definitely don't have the same
Yeah, what point
whatsoever.
Yeah.
It's just kind of a buzzkill for those teams because you're just like, well, here's your consolation.
Other games, I didn't really bother to watch the rest of them, to be honest.
I didn't watch anything else.
Yeah, I was so exhausted. Like this weekend was a wild ride for me. I was up and down, going to the game, not going to the game, going to the game, not going to the game. Like it's been a beatdown, to be quite honest. But SMU almost pulled it off. I mean, they were getting smoked in the first quarter.
I was going to say, I did turn that one on. That's the only game that I told Joe, I was texting Joe, I was like, I'm not watching any more football tonight. And then I was I'm going to turn this game on.
Yeah.
Fourth quarter was pretty fun, man. SMU really got rolling.
Oh, yeah.
It was 31-14 going into that fourth quarter, and then SMU just got rolling. And then somehow Clemson pulls off their longest kick return of the year with the guy that hasn't turned over a kick all year for like 41 yards and sets up their freshman kicker for a 56-yarder that he nails. Damn. Which was just crazy. Must be nice to have a kicker that can be clutch like that.
Oh, yeah.
Shit, if he wants to transfer.
I didn't watch any of the Oregon Penn State, but it seemed like Oregon was in control the whole time. Or doesn't really indicate that. It shows that it was a pretty close game, but it seemed like Oregon's offense just kind of had it rolling.
Yeah, it kind of seemed at will at that point. Like, hey, we're about to get tied up. Let's go ahead and throw another one and be done with it. I think Gabriel had 4 TDs, I believe it was, no interceptions. So everyone's, man, there's going to be some exciting football coming up. Like, I am super excited about all this. Y'all hear Kirby Smart at the end of the game?
Oh, the Greg Sankey thing?
Bro, talk about awkward, dude. Like, first of all, bro, let's go back and look at your previous schedules. Right. Like, it's time for you to quit crying a little bit. Like, let's not forget that you had some of the easiest schedules the last couple of years. So don't start with that.
Dude, how is he like the biggest whiner in all of college football?
Big douche. Huge douche. Like, that's why I'm a huge Sark fan. Like, Sark, it's the first time I've ever seen him actually like go after, like, hey, I'd love to get a holding call. A&M fans did not allow that comment on Twitter. They were like, don't feel sorry for you whatsoever. They also said that that was a targeting call. It just wasn't. They actually reviewed it and deemed it as not. So sorry about you. Yeah, I don't know. Like, it's everything that's happened from this point. Slate is wiped clean.
I mean, it seems like a really bad comment to make to the commissioner of your league. Like, you're just trying to make an enemy. Like, is he going to help you out in the future?
Yeah, it just seems absurd to say that. And then, dude, you look at their schedule. They played the opening game in the Mercedes-Benz Stadium, then had their 6 home games, and then played Florida and Jacksonville. You know what I'm saying? They had 8 games within a 200-mile radius of their campus. And you're going to sit here and complain about having to play 4 road games?
Yeah.
Like, that's absurd to me. Like, I get it if you had 6 away games where you're just like, I played everybody on the road that was the cream of the crop of this conference. But it's like, dude, you even got your non-conference game essentially at home versus Clemson to start the year. Like, I don't get crying over that in that moment too. Like, dude, you got other things to worry about. Be excited about your team winning a championship and getting a bye in the playoffs, and you're going to sit there and complain about your SEC schedule. Like, he's such a tool, dude.
It's so awkward.
This will be their schedule next year. They play Marshall at home, Austin P at home, Florida at home, Charlotte at home, at Georgia Tech, across the state, at Auburn, Alabama at home, Kentucky at home, Ole Miss at home, Texas at home, Mississippi State away, Tennessee away. Like, bro, shut up.
Yeah.
Like, you know that you're going to get the exact reverse next year. So you don't even have a hard schedule that you have created. You don't play anybody else. We're playing Ohio State, so you're Charlotte, Georgia Tech, Austin P, and Marshall. Everyone's talking about now though how basically it's the committee's making it to where you don't really have to play anybody as long as you win your conference games. It's all that matters. Now, like, I mean, Michigan was a game that we set up that should have, like, I still feel like that Michigan game gave us a little edge just because we scheduled it, not because of how Michigan is now, but because we were scheduling it. We're scheduling Ohio State. We're scheduling Notre Dame. We play Michigan again. Like, we're scheduling the difficult games because we don't want to run from it.
Yeah, I mean, but you are going to see a lot of schools run from it because you have your Indianas of the world that all they had to do was beat all their non-conference games and then lose one game to a top 10 opponent. And then there was no discussion about them being out. It's going to be interesting. It didn't really affect this year's playoffs, but if it does going forward with strength of schedule, then it is kind of like for these universities, like, what's the point? Let me go schedule Chattanooga, as my non-conference games and then just play my 8 conference games and I should get in. I think that you do have to reward these teams for scheduling a tougher non-conference opponents. So, I mean, Texas is continuing to do it, with Notre Dame being on the schedule down the road. And then we got Ohio State, doesn't seem like Texas is running from it, but I think you definitely are going to see some schools run from it that, that like Indiana.
Those are the same schools that ran from it anyways. Alabama, Georgia. Those are the same schools that always ran away from it. So I don't want to hear from them. Like, I just don't care. They're such crybabies. I'm sick of it. Play your games. Schedule your games and play them. And we're not going to run from it.
And I'm glad that the committee got it right with SMU and Bama. You can't penalize a school for going to their conference championship while you have Bama sitting at home with 3 losses. That would have left such a sour taste in my mouth if they would have put Bama in, just because it's like, what's the point of even going and playing your conference championship? Like, I'd rather go sit at home, like the whole, Lane Kiffin thing that he was saying, like, what's the point of it? It's probably going to end up hurting me. I'll just stay underneath the radar over here and sneak into the playoffs. So I'm glad the committee got it right with that. I know SMU is not a sexy name to have in there. Obviously Bama's going to bring a lot more viewership and a lot more fans to, these bowls, but I feel like it was the right call to make. SMU played a really tough game last night and almost pulled it off and still had an overall better resume, I think. But I was really interested to see, because it really felt like there for a second that they were going to let Bama slip in.
Yep.
I was really nervous about it when we were watching the reveal. I just felt like the fan base and power of the brand was going to end up winning out. I'm glad it didn't.
I was actually texting my Alabama buddies, Jonathan. We were going back and forth last night or 2 nights ago, and he's like, I was like, "Well, you need Clemson to lose." He's like, "Yeah." I mean, I think he was kind of under the understanding, like, yeah, I understand that if Clemson does win, we're probably out. I mean, you just can't lose to Oklahoma, man, and you can't expect to get in with losing to Oklahoma. Like, for it to be your 3rd loss. Like, I don't care who you are. Oklahoma has been dog water. That Oklahoma win against them is the same. We beat Oklahoma handily, and everyone's saying, "Oh, you didn't play anybody. Didn't play anybody." Well, those guys went in and beat Alabama. So I don't understand who we're not playing at this point. This is that same SEC gauntlet you guys said you have week over week. Like, shut up. Georgia fans especially. Georgia fans are just all over it. Like, you haven't played anybody, bro.
Dude, I think it's funny, that argument, because it's like, yes, like Sark went in there and said, I want to play Kentucky. Yeah. I want to play. You really think that happened? It was just a random draw. It's going to change every year. We'll play the other teams that we play this year at home on the way, vice versa, whatever. And then we'll get some new opponents after that. We'll probably play an LSU, Tennessee. It's going to cycle through. It's not something that these teams control. You control your non-conference schedule. You don't control your conference schedule. I just don't get that argument. It's like, we're playing the teams that are in front of us at the end of the day that were chosen, by the commissioner. So
Arkansas, A&M, OU are 3 games we're more than likely to always have.
Yeah.
So that's 3 games right there. Not my fault they suck. A&M, I don't think sucks either. Like A&M has always been like a decent team.
8-win team.
They've always been an 8-win team at least.
Sometimes.
I mean, a bowl eligible team,
Yeah.
if you want to call it. But like, I mean, Oklahoma's in shambles. Arkansas has always just been the cover hogs. I mean,
Yeah.
they've never been able to. I don't know that they've ever been to an SEC championship.
But they pull off an upset every year.
Exactly. So
Yeah.
it's like, but what are we supposed to do about that? They all want to play us. A&M doesn't. They want to run to the Big Ten. But everybody else, like Arkansas, they want to play us every time.
Yeah.
Oklahoma, at this point, probably like I mean that game is just not going away. Like the rivalry is there. Like we're just not getting rid of that. So it is what it is. Can't do anything about our schedule. So, and honestly, you look at like how we drummed Florida. Yes, they did not have Lagway. I understand, but they were drummed. Like it's
the same defense that played against all these other teams.
Yeah, exactly.
Right.
So, I mean, I just don't get it. Like everyone's infatuated. They want to make an excuse for why Texas is good, which is fine. Now we're coming into your backyard and stealing players from you. So buckle up, get ready. Like I said that last night. I was like, we're already stealing your players. Like we didn't want him anyways. Okay, you've been recruiting him since the 8th grade. You wanted him. You wanted him bad. And now it's all, it was always Texas mismanages all their money that they have. They can't put the right person in place to coach. They can't spend the money the right way. You're just mad that we're actually doing it now. So sorry. Don't know what to tell you.
It's fun, man. It's fun. I like it because Texas is relevant again. Texas is good. Texas is a contender. And everybody knows Texas is going to be around, for the foreseeable future. Sark's got a train rolling here. And I just think it's funny because Texas is always going to have an insane amount of haters.
Yep.
And they don't have a whole lot to hate on right now. So they're just pulling stuff out of their butt at this point.
I think every player is just rolling in Lambos. Like, they don't need this. FYI, they don't need those cars. Like they're already like fully on their way. So
yeah, for sure.
You guys got anything else?
Excited to make it to the semifinals. This is going to be great, man.
Dude, it's going to be. I can't wait for a playoff game. Like that's going to be. It's on TNT though.
Yeah, I know. It's so weird.
Is Charles Barkley going to come down?
Like, we're going to have Shaq, man.
Yeah, dude. That'd be so funny if they just bring the whole NBA crew down. That'd be hilarious.
Dude, super fun to have a playoff game.
Dude.
I mean, like for that being the consolation prize to that SEC game, like. It's a lot of fun, man. I know the stadium's going to be rocking. I think everybody's still got a lot of faith in this team. I think we just continually got matched up against a team that we just don't match up extremely well with at the end of the day. But I like our chances. I know we'll break it down and we'll talk about Clemson and kind of go in depth there. But I do like the matchup and I like our path. I think it's best case scenario for us with how it folded out after that loss.
Potentially cold game.
Who knows, right?
We've never played at DKR in the middle of December, so
no,
that's gonna be fun. All right, anything else? Oh, hold on.
We should definitely fill out brackets.
Yes, we will fill out brackets, and if you that are watching, Joe, want to fill out a bracket with us, we will. We'll invite whoever, send us put a comment in this video, put your email in here. We'll invite you to the Bowl Pick'em Challenge. We'll figure out a prize for the winner of that. I'm working on off season, working on merch, so we'll get you some merch for the winner of that. So, but we're only rewarding the people that have been with us now. So, championship wise, all three of us picked one winner. One of us is a douchebag for picking them. I have Oregon. John has Clemson. Seth, who did you have to win the SEC?
I had Georgia, man.
He had money on it, dude. He had money on it last night. I could tell. It probably went through his trust.
Unbelievable.
It was getting to him, dude.
That's why I saw him cheering after the game, dude. He was
yeah.
Yes. He was all excited. yeah, that'll wrap up the regular season, and it is playoff time, boys. We're gonna take a break the rest of this week. Probably come back middle of next week and do the bowl pick'em stuff, and then
What the heck are we gonna do next Saturday? It sucks.
Dude, I thought the game was next Saturday for some reason.
Yeah.
I was already like, oh man, that's crazy turnaround that we already got to get ready. You know, we got to rest up. And then I looked at the dates and I was like, oh crap, we have 2 weeks. Like, now what?
I'm just working on trying to find flights. That's all I'm working on, boys. I will be in Atlanta at some point, whether or not it'd be 2 weeks to 3 weeks from now, for New Year's, for the championship. I don't care. I will be in Atlanta because I will be the deciding factor. Again, you want me on that wall. You need me on that wall. I will be there. All right. Thank you guys for joining us, boys. It's been a great regular season. I appreciate both of you. We've had a blast. It's been an awesome season so far. We're not even close to done. The job is just now getting started. So until next week, 2 weekends from now, we'll see you, boys. Hook 'em.
Hook 'em.